Think of the pyramids of Giza. For a long time, they stood as the standard benchmark for ancient, monumental human achievement. This timeline charts human history. The Great Pyramid was built roughly 4,500 years ago. To find the origins of monumental construction, we have to travel over 7,000 years further back from the pyramids, to a hilltop in southeastern Turkey called Göbekli Tepe. The people who built it did so in a world without metal tools, wheels, written language, or farms. Yet these prehistoric hunter-gatherers managed to quarry, transport, and carve massive limestone pillars, some standing 5 meters tall and weighing up to 16 tons. Coordinating labor on that scale requires serious social organization. We're left to ask what force organized these people centuries before anyone in the region is confirmed to have planted a single crop. In the 1960s, a joint survey team from the University of Chicago and the University of Istanbul examined this specific hill and dismissed it. They identified the scattered, broken limestone slabs on the surface as an abandoned medieval cemetery. They cataloged it as unremarkable and moved on. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt revisited the location and immediately recognized the limestone fragments as prehistoric evidence. His excavations revealed what was actually buried under the hill: massive circular and oval enclosures, measuring up to 20 meters across, formed by dozens of those towering T-shaped pillars connected by stone walls. This chart graphs the radiocarbon dates of the enclosures against their physical size. The data shows that the very oldest structures, dating back to roughly 9600 BCE, are the largest and most elaborate on the site. Over time, the scale shrinks. Later generations built smaller, less complex enclosures, reversing the standard archaeological expectation of gradual technological progress. These builders arrived at peak monumental construction right at the beginning, arriving at a scale that challenges our assumptions of how human civilizations develop. Klaus Schmidt proposed that Göbekli Tepe served as a pure temple. Because early excavations found no hearths or houses, he argued these were population-free sanctuaries where nomadic bands gathered seasonally to hold feasts and build the stone enclosures. This interpretation flipped the standard script. Schmidt argued that the logistical pressure of feeding these religious gatherings served as the catalyst for domesticating crops. Archaeologist Ted Banning later challenged this, noting that the stone walls and layouts at Göbekli Tepe closely resemble roofed domestic dwellings found elsewhere in the region. Excavations have since turned up more than 7,000 grinding stones, pestles, and mortars scattered throughout the site. This staggering volume of food processing equipment suggests a permanent resident population processing wild grains to generate calories for the workforce. Modern researchers often try to separate temple from home, but early humans likely wove survival tasks together with massive symbolic display, making no distinction between the two. This map illustrates the Fertile Crescent's golden triangle. Göbekli Tepe sits right in the middle, overlapping perfectly with the genetic origin zone of domesticated einkorn wheat. These people were processing wild einkorn wheat in the exact landscape where that same crop would eventually be domesticated. This supports a feedback loop model. The demands of organizing huge gatherings created the direct pressure to domesticate the wild grains they were already harvesting. Göbekli Tepe was not an isolated project. Archaeologists have identified a cluster of similar sites, like Karahan Tepe, revealing a vast cultural network of coordinated hunter-gatherer groups. Across this network, foxes, scorpions, vultures, and boars are carved directly into the central pillars, pointing to a shared symbolic vocabulary spanning the entire region. The pillars themselves appear to be stylized figures. Look closely at the sides, and you can see long fingers, arms, a belt, and a loincloth-like garment. This rich visual vocabulary proves that complex, shared belief systems existed long before agriculture, even if we cannot read their specific mythology today. Roughly 11,500 years ago, the community intentionally backfilled the enclosures with layers of rubble, flint debris, and animal bone fragments. Burying a complex of this size required a massive investment of organized labor, matching the effort it took to build it. Leading theories for this burial range from the ritual closing of a sacred space to an invisible environmental pressure that forced the community to seal the site. Only about 10% of the site has been excavated, meaning these unresolved questions will drive archaeological work for the next century. This vacuum of answers makes the site a magnet for fringe theories regarding aliens or lost civilizations. The true evidence-backed capabilities of prehistoric hunter-gatherers are far stranger than science fiction. Göbekli Tepe forces us to accept that monumental architecture and organized labor predated the agricultural revolution. The textbook sequence of civilization, first the farm, then the village, then the religion, is broken. This chronological reversal changes our understanding of human motivation and capability. Just as our assumed timeline of early civilization was backward, the standard origin story of our economy never actually happened the way we were taught. Next, we examine the myth of Barter.
This is a dose of pure wowness at the end place. We are so grateful for this incredible journey. The arc is for you. Thank you for being here.